Hello everybody, this is Naya from DoSpace, and today we will be taking a look at the history of Mac hardware. So let's get started. What is Mac? Mac, the operating system, it was developed by the American company Apple. The OS was introduced in 1984 to run the company's Macintosh line of personal computers, and also be a rival to Windows in a way. The Macintosh heralded the era of graphical user interface systems, and it inspired Microsoft Corporation to develop its own Windows OS. In the beginning, the Macintosh project was started in the late 70s with Jeff Raskin, an Apple employee who envisioned an easy-to-use, low-cost computer for the average consumer. He wanted to name the computer after his favorite type of apple, the Macintosh, but its name had to be changed for legal reasons. In September 1979, Raskin was authorized by management to start hiring for the project, and he began to look for an engineer who could put together the prototype. Now, production of the Mac is based off of a vertical integration model that Apple facilitates all its aspects of its hardware and creates its own hardware system, operating system, called Software System, later renamed Mac OS, that is pre-installed in all Mac computers. This is a contrast to most IBM PC compatibles, where multiple sellers create hardware intended to run another company's operating software. Apple exclusively produces Mac hardware, choosing internal systems, design, and prices. Apple also develops the operating system for the Mac. Currently, now this is some false information. Currently, the new OS is Catalina, and they're saying it's Snow Leopard, but it is Catalina. The modern Mac, like other personal programs, is capable of running alternative operating systems such as Linux, FreeBSD, and in this case, the Intel-based Macs, Microsoft Windows. However, Apple does not license Mac OS for use on non-Apple computers. So if you are wanting to use Mac software on a PC, that would be impossible. Now, you can use Windows software on a Mac via Boot Camp or Parallels or any other virtual machine, but you can't do the reverse. And also, does this guy look familiar? The Macintosh, or Mac, is a series of several lines of personal computers manufactured by Apple Inc. The first Macintosh was introduced on January 24, 1984 by Steve Jobs, and it was the first commercially successful personal computer to feature two known then, but still unpopular features: the mouse and the graphical user interface, rather than the command line interface of its predecessors. After selling the forward-looking but way overpriced Lisa, Apple unveiled the 128K Macintosh in 1984, first via an unforgettable Super Bowl ad invoking George Orwell and insinuating IBM as Big Brother. Then, 2 days later, with a formal introduction on stage in Cupertino. The second one, the Macintosh 512K, or Fat Mac, as it was affectionately known, debuted in September 1984, a little shy of a few months after its initial debut, and it includes upgraded memory and internals. The Macintosh Plus arrived in 1986 and stuck around for about 4 years until it was discontinued in 1990. The Macintosh SE arrived in 1987. In 1989, the supercharged SE/30 lands with a faster 32-bit 68030 CPU, say that 3 times fast. Both find homes in professional desktop publishing. By 1990, Apple started to expand its lineup in earnest, including the low-budget LC, the mid-range staple LLCI, and lower-end desktop LLSI. The early 90s brought us the higher end 68040 powered Centrus 650 and the Quadro machines. More and more Mac models began to look like proper desktops or tower PCs with separate displays. The mid-90s saw a succession of confusingly named models in multiple production lines. One of the better standouts were Performa all-in-ones like this PowerPC equipped 5200. And now this is where the fun begins. The PowerBook line was available from 1991 to 2006. Shown here is the PowerBook Duo 210, introduced in 1992. It was a sub-notebook that fit into a specifically made accessory dock for desktop use with an external monitor. Introduced in August of 1998, is the first real example of an Apple product once again with Steve Jobs' blessing, and is widely considered a return to form. Directed by Johnny Ive, it distills the essence of a Mac in a single, self-contained composure, much in the same vein as the original Macintosh, while ditching the 3.5-inch floppy drive, if you remember those, considered a bold move ahead of its time, especially since Apple was instrumental in bringing that platform into the public consciousness in the first place. Later, candy-coated versions of the iMac with faster 333 MHz processors followed. Along with that, the similarly designed iBook laptops came with a compelling feature called 102.11b Wi-Fi, or as we affectionately know it as the Wi-Fi. Apple introduced a brand new clear and gray G Tower in September 1999 to considerable fanfare. This is right around the time when Apple began to sell its 15-inch flat LCD panel in lieu of its CRTs and at a high price. But this is Apple we're talking about, so I'm not surprised. In 2002, Apple unveiled the eMac, a desktop line designed specifically for education, featuring a 17-inch flat CRT and 700 MHz PowerPC G4 processor. By 2006, the 17-inch iMac for education replaced the eMac. And currently, the lineup of Macs that we have, of course, include the MacBook Pro, the slimmer and lighter MacBook Air, and the 21.5 and 27-inch Mac desktops. Okay, so we are halfway through. As you notice, the hardware only makes up half of Mac's history. And in the next series of videos, we will be talking more about the OS or the software for it. So, again, this has been Naya from DoSpace, and this has been the history of Mac hardware. For more information, go to our website at dospace.org. Thank you for listening and have a good day.